It's that time of year again, folks, and the Tekken gods have either blessed us or cursed us with our rather putrid existence. I did a comprehensive breakdown on Eliza Season 2 changes, and now I'm back to do it all over again. If this is your first time coming across me, I'm YinCrescent, a renowned Eliza man. Don't forget it. Don't pretend like you guys care about this character. You want to hear about Season 3 changes for Eliza, don't you? Well, sure, broski. Here you go. That character still sucks. The end. The video is over. Goodbye. Something tells me you actually want me to explain the changes. Alright, fine. Here you go. So this time around, I wasn't really expecting anything groundbreaking, and if you think I'm lying through my pearly whites, you bet your damn pancakes I am, because I really wanted this character to be good, man. When I looked at some of the changes, I began contemplating on the direction Eliza was going. Some of the changes were much more quality of life changes, or just some random and impulsive changes they made along the way. Except this one. That's a buff. Going in order of the patch notes, and excluding some things that are going to be mentioned before I even get to them, forward 3 plus 4. We'll start from here. One of the first changes mentioned in the patch notes is that Eliza can now end her moon glide in a crouching position. Now, I don't know if any of you remember that part of the Season 2 breakdown where I said,
I was hoping this time around for a few new attacks for our arsenal, such as a full crouch low that knocks down a normal hit, so that if she would land down forward, she would actually have a mix-up that you need to be scared of.
My prayers were halfway answered, but at least now the effectiveness of having access to your full crouch moves mean that you get a really deep mix-up afterwards, and I'm talking Mariana Trench deep. You know those documentaries they make of those monsters at the bottom of the ocean? Yeah, that's this mix-up. Good luck, have fun. Moonglide crouch cancel and the clean hit down 3 is the new cheese! What's next on the list? Quarter circle forward 1 plus 2 into Moonglide 1. So apparently this was a bug. No, it wasn't. After you input EX Dark Wave and followed up with Moonglide 1, the opponent got so scared they crouched and got hit by Moonglide 1. Wait. Moonglide 1 is a high. So was Moonglide 3. You could duck Moonglide 3. So why can't you duck Moonglide... Maybe it was a bug after all. Moving on, we have Eliza's DP1. If you want to be technical or some kind of maniac, I present to you forward, down, down, forward 1. The change here is rather minor, but improves the effectiveness of Eliza being able to convert off random DPs from further ranges. Let's say someone extends a limb, and by whatever your last 2 functioning brain cells that you have, decides that they want to do a DP input. And it works. In Season 3, this has been changed so that the opponent is now closer in these kinds of situations, rather than them flying to the other side of China just because you happen to screw up a dash up down forward 1 input. And that wasn't the only change made to her DP either. The last hit of her EX DP now has 2 more active frames, and if you're wondering why, in Season 2, if you happen to hit an airborne opponent or some idiot who is mashing out hopkick when they weren't supposed to, the second DP, where she claims that you're finished, misses, and reminded Eliza that she shouldn't assume where you're from based on your appearance. Good thing is that you don't miss out on any wall splat opportunities, as the EX DP hitting on the last 2 active frames is rather consistent, so this is a good change. Next up, we have quarter circle back 2. Now, I was kinda excited when I read some of these changes, only to be disappointed, and I'll explain why. The frame data on this attack has changed from being -2 on hit to +2 on hit. The attack also has a chance to hit grounded opponents. And I use the term chance loosely because it still seems to miss when your opponent's feet are facing towards you when face up or down. It also misses when your opponent is face up head first. So even though it's stated that the move has a lower hitbox entirely, it would have been better if it just hit grounded no matter what the circumstances. Aside from that, next we have quarter circle back 3.
Oh man! Oh god! Oh man! Oh god! Oh man! Oh god! Oh man! Oh god! Oh man! Oh god!
The thing we do not ever want to see are the letters QCB plus the number 3, because that means something bad has happened. But before all that, we'll start with how the move functioned in Season 2 before the current changes. You're able to do dive kick resets after certain attacks or wall splats, or even after floor breaks. In terms of safety, our guest Coolia Jang will now demonstrate how unsafe the attack was on block.
God damn!
Now let's talk about the Season 3 changes. I really don't want to do this. Dive kick 3 on block has been reduced to -14, with the instant air version being -9. Okay, well that's not so bad. Phew, for a minute there, I thought they were gonna take away the I can feel channels screaming from all the way in Korea. On the other end of the spectrum, Dive Kick 3 has seen a change in its counter hit property, with this version launching for about 70-ish damahe. Here's a small example. Now, her quarter circle back 4, also known as her dive kick 4, and I'll try and make this as exciting as possible. The damage has now been increased from 14 damage to a staggering 50. Quarter circle back 1 plus 2, also known as her EX slash, will see a damage reduction going from 30 overall to 25. The first hit's damage has now been reduced from 10 to 5, and the second hit recovers 1 frame faster. On block count has been changed from -14 to -13. So now the attack for most characters is a bit harder to punish. Characters like Brian could jet upper if he blocked EX slash if you were trying to mix him up at the wall. Another one of her EX moves, EX dive kick, received a pretty good buff. After the attack hits, it recovers faster and allows more time to convert it into a combo. What makes this even better is that the EX dive kick is now completely safe, going from -13 to -9. Certain characters like bears could punish EX dive kick with down back 1-2 at any range, so no more freebies this time, bears. So remember when while standing 3 was changed to have better recovery after the attack lands? Its counterpart, 1-2-3, didn't function the same way, as it never allowed you to convert off the launcher with back 4. Now 1-2-3 functions the same way as while standing 3. And 1-2-4 on the other hand, in Season 2, this attack will only knock your opponents away, but has been changed to counter hit standing opponents. As far as forward 3 goes, this attack received yet another buff, changing its frame startup from 18 frames to 16 frames, allowing Eliza to effectively punish ranged attacks, such as Paul's Death Fist. This is a good change since Eliza lacks range in some aspects of block punishment in comparison to other characters. Oh yeah, time to talk about Moonglide 1. Eliza's Moonglide 1 has been buffed by giving it reduced range. So,
God damn!
Where was I? Yeah, Moonglide 1. The patch notes read, decreased the range of the attack, which is actually half of what the full note on the change was. I had to do some digging around and found the patch notes on the Japanese website for Tekken. The patch notes read, Moonglide 中、攻撃ヒット範囲を低くしました. By the way, when I was reading this, I had no idea what the any of this meant. But simply, it reads that the attack has a lower hitbox, which means she can actually convert off of her forward 2 using Moonglide 1. Forward 3-4, or Moonglide 3-4, no longer jails and can be ducked if the first hit is blocked. This was a tool used by a lot of players because it granted a natural combo tailspin with little to no risk. This attack was -9 and screamed, "Hey man, here's your turn back, you deserve it." But on the other side, where the grass is greener, Eliza now has a new extension to her forward 3 input, forward 3-3, a mid launcher that you can also do for Moonglide. It's -13 on block, allows for a high wall splat, and also when you land in an open space, you can combo it using EX slash, but that's all you get. And now here's the bad part about all of this. I think you get the point. EX Moonglide 1+2 is an unblockable. This used to be the same speed as if she did it from a regular Moonglide. In Season 2, it required you to do a cancelable move into the Moonglide and then input 1+2. It was 51 frames, and this time the unblockable comes out in 41 frames, much faster than its predecessor. Down forward 1-2. This is an enter that isn't really seen too much, due to it not having anything outside of plus frames on counter hit. The current season gives down forward 1-2 a counter hit property on the second hit. I was wondering if down forward 1-2 was going to end up as a counter hit combo starter, and it did, sort of, but I kinda wanted it to be a crumple stun instead. So the current counter hit now makes it a little hard to really get a follow-up on, but here's some ways to convert off of it. It also has an unblockable tech trap as well, but it only works against side roll right. Down forward 3 was quite interesting to read. A lot of players, including myself, wondered if there was ever going to be a non-meter method for wall bounds. Thankfully, this input wasn't overlooked, and they decided to give it further improvement. The attack recovers 2 frames faster, making it -6 on block, and allows for more leverage to convert it into a combo from the wall bound. Another quality of life change was made to back 1-2-4. In Season 2, back 1-2-4 was able to be snuffed out by a jab, resulting in a trade. Even though Eliza got the better end of the GameStop trade, it was a minor annoyance, and I'm glad they made it so that jabs can no longer trade versus it. You can still sidestep the last hit. It's also -13 along with the second hit. Forward 1+2. Change the opponent's behavior when hit by the third hit in mid-air. Change the opponent's behavior when hit by the third hit in mid-air. How do you do that? That doesn't work. How the fuck? Okay. This attack has changed and gave us a floor break from the string, which is good, but to make this move better, I think they should just give us a feint cancel for the third hit, which is a low. The input could be anything like forward 1+2 down or forward 1+2 back, plus the string is kinda trash. Lastly, we have Wall Running 1. This attack was previously buffed in Season 2, with it being +2 on block, and now the attack has been buffed even further, making it +6 on block with increased tracking, as well as a 2 frame reduction on its recovery when it hits. This makes follow-ups and combos like Wall Running 3 easier, though I wish it didn't push back on block as far as it does, so that she could continue her pressure. That concludes the entirety of her patch notes for Season 3. While some of the changes weren't all that groundbreaking, I personally think where Eliza got hit the hardest was with her quarter circle back 3 not being able to floor break anymore. But otherwise, the changes made to her current kit are mostly positive. However, Eliza still has more room for improvements to become a more complete character. What are some changes you'd like to see gameplay-wise for Eliza? Let me know in the comments below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, but before you go, I just wanted to let you know there's a server for the Eliza Discord, as well as a spreadsheet I'm currently working on to reduce the amount of clutter in the server. Check for links in the description. Till then, see you next time.